long 6 years. You can do a whole lot in 6 years. And it's been a crazy 6 years. So it's great to be able to share that. And you recognize that the presumptions that you make as your first diagnosis, the things that you so expect to come true, don't always do that. There's a great quote, Mark Twain. I have lived through many great tragedies in my life. Some have actually come true, right? So we kind of front load all the tragedy that we have in our life and think of, oh, what happens when this and what happens with this, and then of course that's going to happen, and then it didn't happen. So I personally dragged myself down a lot of places that I didn't need to go. And you guys taught me that. You guys taught me to just take today for today. It's the only thing you have to deal with. It's what's in front of you, and we'll go from there. In your bags are tissues. Someone suggested that we should have tissues. So that's what those are for if you haven't figured it out. So hopefully there won't be too many sad moments. But as we talked about before, the first step when you're in that setting, when you're just compressed by the weight of everything that's on you, the only way to get out is to find hope. And there are two. I'm a lumper, not a splitter. So you've heard that saying. So in my mind, there's two ways that people get through hope. And I had a wonderful talk by a patient last night who gave credence to this. And what I see is people go through two ways. The first thing is kind of an external way of looking at where hope lives, and then there's an internal way of looking at where hope lives. So I'll describe these, and then while you're voting, we'll go through one of my favorite songs of hope. So the inside me people, those are the folks, and you can vote with that with a 1, are those people who find hope kind of inside them. They find hope within themselves in some relationship with some greater being. There's some sense that they know that things are just going to be fine, and I'm going to rely not so much on everything I do, but this intrinsic deep sense of peace that's going to kind of guide me through. And on the other hand, are the people who look at their blood work. They develop spreadsheets, this is my chest x-ray and this is my blood, and kind of live kind of for the moment on those numbers. And everybody does a little bit of both, but I made it hard on you and I didn't let you, I didn't put a both because everyone would put both. So kind of the one you're feeling kind of now and in the moment rather than, it may be different tomorrow, it may be different yesterday, but where we are now. Good.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens her magic lane. When all the world darkens up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Can you hear me now? Yeah. And I love that that song ends in a question, right? Because you don't really know where hope's coming from. And you can hear that question in two ways, and these may be the inside and the outside people. And some of it is, well, if happy bluebirds can get there, you know, why can't I? Or the other one is, if happy bluebirds can get there, why can't I? You know, why can't I seem to find it? And it's kind of all in the swing and kind of all how you're feeling. So let's see what we got. Ha. A lot of inside me's. Exactly. And the response was, that's why we're here. And it is, and I agree with that. Does anyone want to speak to that? Does anyone care to say anything? There's a microphone there, or you can just shout it out. Do you want to say anything, Edwina? She doesn't. Okay.
No, I just said that's why we're here. I strongly feel that when you can draw from that power inside of you, you live, like you said, one day at a time. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
Thank you. That when you can take it one day at a time, is easier to control the way you react to what's happening in your life. And you're able to, like I said before when we were talking, it's almost like those little slides that we used to have where you just press a button and you see one slide, and then you press a button and you see the next slide. And that's what happened to me. I could only take one slide at a time.
Mm-hmm. So to get through the slides, then you need to find hope here because all the slides are flashing in front of you. And yeah, and there are, I thought it would be kind of evenly split. Would anyone like to speak to the outside me part? The anti-hero, I guess, tonight, sorry. No, and I think we all focus on these in different ways, and neither is right and neither is wrong. It's just kind of how we are kind of wired to kind of find it. But the key is to find hope. And finding hope can be one of the more challenging parts of the journey. And it's not kind of a one-way street. You know, it kind of goes back and forth because on some days, even the people who really look internally to find this, they have days that they can't find it either. So I think it's fair to say that this journey is complex at the very least. And as we kind of meander through these pathways, we'll find lots of commonalities that we share and how we get through them. Does anyone have any thoughts that they'd like to add to that? Feel free. The wine's flowing. Celine, speak into my collar.
It's so wonderful to be here. In the healing arts for 50 years, I remember walking into nursing school in the 60s, And when the doctor walked into the room, I had to stand and offer him my chair.
And somehow that went away.
About 40 years later, it was common that the physician was the authority figure. And we were to take the hope that was given, or if I may be so bold, the lack of hope. Being told you have cancer and you have 6 months and you better get your life in order, and that's still being told to patients. But the beautiful thing is, as we open our hearts as well as our minds to realize that we are all learners and teachers. In fact, if you put the word teach on a mirror, it spells learn. And I'm seeing that as the healing arts advances, we are working more and more as colleagues, teaching each other that there's no one best way, and that science and magic are really one. And so I've seen hope dashed in the beginning, in the 60s, when patients were never asked if they were sexually or physically abused, and they got cancer of the genitals because they were shamed by that. Now these are things that are coming out, and everyone's a winner. So,
thank you. Great. I knew it was going to happen. Yeah, those are wonderful words. And we're a partnership, and we have to work together. Even on a personal level, I've learned so much that I just can't keep it inside me, and that's why I'm pleased to do events like this.